So, today our workshop is on your signature message. I say it's signature because when you have a topic, when you are working as a professional, you will be known for the topic and everything that goes along with it. That's why I call it your signature. Your signature is unique to you. Your topic will be unique to you, and everything, even your message, will be unique to you. Let me start with a little story. Previous job, I was the planning director for a city bus company. And one of my responsibilities every year was to give a presentation, here's how we did, here's how our service performed. So I had these like 25, 30 slides, and it was filled with data and charts and text and all sorts of information, just saying, here's how we are, here's where ridership was, here's how it moved by month, here's what ridership was for each of the routes, here's what ridership, here's where the top 5 ridership routes, then it went into productivity and cost, and all sorts of information. It really gave them a really good overview about what was going on. And at the end of my 30-minute presentation, I'd say, do you have any questions? And that's when I could see the sure sign of glaze over eyes and drowsiness. And no one wanted to ask any questions. And finally, the chairman would usually look up and say, Fred,
thank you.
What does it all mean? That's the hardest way. What's your point? What does it all mean? So I start to go back and say, well, ridership went up and this on this. No, that's not what they really want. And then someone would think of one of those silly little side comments that I made and start asking, well, what was that day? What day of the week was that? And who was riding? And do we have any marketing on it? Things that I just didn't want to talk about. I wasn't prepared. It was somebody else's job, but I brought up the point. What did I do wrong?
Gave them too much, yeah.
TMI, too much information. And let's start with a little quiz. Too much information. Is this good or bad?
Bad.
Yes,
Depends on
too much information. If there's too much information, you're true or false. Your audience will be confused. True. Too much information, your audience will be excited and captivated. False. True or false, your audience will stop listening to you.
What did you say? Yes.
At some point.
True. True or false, your audience will ask more questions.
False.
That may be true,
Yeah, it could be.
but they start asking the right questions. And number 5, you'll ask good questions. True or false? False. No, they start asking the wrong questions, the side questions that you really don't want. So no, 4 is true.
4 is true.
But 5 is false, because 4 is they'll ask the wrong questions.
Okay, wrong question.
And number 6, the most important one, your audience will remember all the details.
False.
False. Isn't that the worst part? You've worked so hard, put so much information, told them so much, told them everything you know. And what happens? They don't remember.
Exactly.
What was all the work for? What did they want? They wanted the basic point. They wanted to know what it all mean. And really, WIIFM, if you ever heard the radio station I talk about?
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me? That's what they want to know. What's in it for me? So what's the cure to TMI? It's a clear M.
Message?
A clear message. Sure. Some people call it your central point. I listed it. Lesson. What's the lesson you learned? What's the theme? What's the moral of the story? But a clear message. Something short. Something simple. Can you give your message in 10, 12 words? One sentence? It's a tough one. I said a 1 week later message. What do you think I mean by that?
1 week later, they'll be sitting in their office and they'll say, that's what he meant.
They remember it.
When that situation really comes up, they remember the message and they will go to apply that message. Exactly. That's why it's important to have a nice, short, memorable, clear message. And I always like to call it a fat message. How do you get the audience to feel, act, or think?
Different groups
Yep.
will react different ways.
Yep. So different groups have different variations of the message.
Yeah, you gotta
Yes.
know your audience.
Got to know your audience, but you have to start with the
What do you
basic
say?
message, and then you have to adjust it for your audience. I did say up there, you focused message for each audience. Each audience has a different want.
What was again the WIF?
WIIFM.
What?
What's in it for
Oh, okay.
me? So important to remember that. That's why I like to think of it as a radio station. You're listening to one, I'm talking on one, I'm listening to one myself. So that's our whole goal today, is to start thinking about developing a message for your product, your theme, your topic. And really, anytime you speak, you work your speech into one simple, clear message. So that when you're finished, and they go up to say, what's it all mean? What's your point? You can say it in one short sentence. That makes sense to them and that they'll remember. I mentioned before, this whole series is a signature series. You're going to be known for your topic, your story, and your audience. But when you go out and present, you should also be known for that message. They'll think, Steve's talking about knives and knife skills. And his message is, use the knives properly and they'll last forever and save you time. Whatever your message is going to be. But they'll remember that, and they'll remember not only that, but they'll remember it's Steve that's telling them that. And for each of us, we develop our own. All right. Next page, let's talk about examples. Before we actually figure out, all right, we need to have a good idea of what it is. So I came up with some ideas of signature messages from other people. Tell me if it's a good signature message or not. I don't get no respect.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield, yes.
Clear on that.
He did. But is it a message?
Yes.
It's not a signature message. It's a signature, but it's not a message. It doesn't, because it doesn't hit the requirements that we said before. It's a big picture thing, you focused. Where everything in his presentation is based on that, but it's nothing that's going to help us.
So what you're saying, it's not a message?
It's not a message.
I don't get no respect.
I don't get no respect. It's a great model line, but it's not a message. Anybody remember, if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit.
That's
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson.
That was
That was
Johnny
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran said it in the O.J. Simpson trial. Who was his audience?
the jury.
The jury. Was that a good message?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it sure was. Everything that they presented in their closing argument all revolved and supported that one theme. If the gloves don't fit, you must acquit. Nothing else mattered. Everything else was confusing, but you have to remember this.
Reasonable
It's a
doubt.
great message. And it was memorable. How long did it only took them a couple hours to
Yeah,
remember?
and we're still
Still debating it.
The
immediately.
jury is still out.
Right, and maybe went to jail for something that was
That's true.
stupid. That was stupid.
The jury is
Got
still
off of that.
the jury, but that jury, he got it. He got them to understand his message.
Yep.
Our vision is your future. Have you heard that before? That's our vision. That's our statement. For global leaders, our mission statement is our vision is your future. Is that a good signature message?
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
We gotta say
No.
the president's in the room.
What to tell you to do? What to tell you to do? What to tell you to do?
Our vision
Your-
is your future.
Our vision is your future?
Is it a message? Does it?
It's
It's clear. Is it clear?
I mean,
It's not clear.
Does it tell you what to
it's not
do?
clear because your vision cannot be another person's vision unless you can get them to follow your vision.
Yeah. Well, it's a great model, a great tagline, but it's not a message.
It's not a message.
It's not a message. It doesn't tell you how to feel, act, or think. It doesn't tell you what's in it for you.
That's right. That's your vision.
Okay.
Take control of your own life.
That's gotta be.
That's a message.
That's a message. That's Zig Ziglar.
Yes.
Zig Ziglar, take control of your own life.
Yes, because of the word your own.
It's the economy, stupid. Anybody remember that one?
Is that, I don't
Yeah.
know, was that Clinton?
That was Clinton. Who was his audience? Who was his audience?
Everybody.
US
Democrat.
population,
No.
when he running?
For
No.
office?
George
No.
Bush?
No. Who was his audience for? It's the economy, stupid. It was his campaign staff.
Oh, really?
He wanted his campaign staff to remember anytime they went out and talked, it was all about the economy. Everything that they developed, all their main positive messages were about the economy. It's the economy, stupid. That's what he was telling his staff to remember when they're going out to promote him, his president. So, yeah.
And it was a
I mean, the
good
econ-
message.
So you say,
It is a good message. Yeah, it was a great message for that audience. Where the rubber meets the road.
Firestone?
Firestone.
I don't know how I know him.
You read about
You're
it.
old, like me. You're over 40.
I'll be 40 Monday.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
I'll be
Happy
54.
Happy
That was
birthday.
On Veterans Day. Oh, we got some good
Your parents were good. So is that a good message?
Where the rubber meets the
That's Firestone?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
it's good.
It's a motto.
It's a
Does it tell you what to
Yeah.
think?
No.
Think, feel, or act, yes.
Does it tell you it's going to help you?
Well, it's a scenario to me. If it's where the rubber meets the road, it's giving you where you're not separated from your situation. But I mean, whatever you meet in life, you're going to think of the time when it comes to grips
That's true.
with you.
That's
So
true.
I would say it's a message, and
How does it make you think? I mean, how would it make me think, act, or feel differently? What am I supposed to do with it? How does it help me? How does it help me?
I am supposed to use that in my life and know when things. I cannot just look at things at distance, but I have to face the fact.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good vision there. Yeah. Okay. To me, it doesn't help me to understand what to do. That's why I don't see it as a message. I see it as a good vision statement.
But what if you were going through a certain situation and you...
And that's a good point, because it really depends on what your topic is and what the rest of your presentation. But on the general sense, how would you develop that as a speech? Who would your audience be, and how would you develop it? Is it for everybody or just for certain people?
Well, it would be, to me, for professional people or anybody who have living, who has opportunities to be something different.
Okay.
But then there is the thing about facing it in a positive way. You
Okay.
have to.
Good. If that's going to be your message, work with it and use it. Okay.
That's what you're saying.
How about we live our life? How we live our life is more important than what we have.
I think it makes you think, feel, and act. So it's probably a message.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Jim Rohn.
Yes.
Jim
Yes.
Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N.
Okay.
And the last one. Be the change you want to see in the world. Know who that is?
Yeah.
Was
That
was
Gandhi.
Gandhi. Very good.
Gandhi.
Yeah, Gandhi. Yeah.
Be the change that you want to see.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Yeah. Excellent message.
So that's
Clear. It tells you how to feel, how to think. It tells you what to do. Whatever you want to do. Do you have any other examples? Do you have your own examples, your own things that you like as a message? I got that.
Yeah, might as well, since I'm here. Like a good neighbor.
Like, he used to be a state farmer.
Ah, okay.
familiar.
It's very familiar, but I wondered if you would. Of course, I smiled and grinned because I lived by it for so long. Like a new
But is that a message or is that a motto?
It's a motto.
It's a motto, yeah. How does it tell you to feel or think? Doesn't even tell you to buy.
No.
So this is supposed to make messages clear. It's supposed to have a big picture, then what's in it for me. It should make the audience think, feel, or act, and then remember it 1 week later, and everything, the presentation should support the message.
Yeah. is be the change you want to see in the world. Would that be one big idea, big picture?
I think so.
Would
What
it
about
be,
what
Yeah.
you want to see in the world, man?
would it be focused? You
Be the
focused?
change you want to see.
It's something that is for you.
But majority carries.
Hmm?
Majority carries.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
how would you get people to see
Come
the
on.
change that you want to see if you, I mean, you could speak up, yes,
Uh-huh.
but
your,
it's not.
your
it's-
question is how.
How? Yes, that's
And
what
that's
I'm
what the
saying.
rest of your whole project is. And that's what your presentation's going to be. And
You'll have
your-
to find out how.
yeah, you work on-
Okay.
all those little details. The
Okay.
details don't count. It's the message. The details support it. All your presentation is going to be centered around that message.
How about life is too short to use dull knives?
That's good. Sharpen your knife.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Life is too short to use dull knives. I
Fran,
learned that this morning.
that's right.
I
See?
don't use dull knives, so I know.
All you guys need to come
That's
talk
right.
to me or
I was
invite me in.
thinking, boy, I wish I had a good knife.
See, my first reaction, it's a good motto. I think certainly you
Life
could
is too
take that
short.
thought
Yeah.
and you know, don't have dull knives.
My dad has Cutco knives.
That would be like using negative attitudes and
Yeah.
because that dampens life if you're not
Well,
positive.
As we get up in age, we realize we don't have all that, forever ahead of us. So I think it's more of a message for us older folks than the young one. The young one are like, what are you talking about?
I think that's good too. And that, Steve Covey, one of his principles is sharpen the saw. It's that short, but it's the same kind of message. Life is
Yeah.
too short to use dull knives.
You bring up a really good point. A really good message that's probably the next step after today's workshop is coming up one that's cute and memorable. But let's come up with the basic one first. Then we can come up with and change the wording around and adjust it to make it memorable. But we need to have that basic thought in our head. This is my message. Then we can change it.
So with the prison ministry, one that a friend of mine uses a lot is I will be getting out sometime. What kind of man do you want me to be?
Yeah.
Gator uses that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, how about dull knives suck?
I don't really like knives.
He sells knives.
He sells knives.
Yeah, he
He
does.
does.
He did a really nice
Wow.
presentation.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess so you
What
don't.
basically are you trying to make us say? I think
That you need better knives than what you have in your hand.
better in what way?
Sharper, longer lasting, easier to use, safer.
A sharper knife, not safer.
I
Sharp
mean, your
knife,
basic
like-
message is
Cut quicker.
good knives,
And deeper.
save
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
make food better.
Right.
But
And
there's a
work it around there.
there's a
Yeah.
song too. About
Yeah, you had those
the
3 or 4
first
points.
cut.
Mhm.
Make it's
The first cut.
Save
hurts
time.
most or something.
better presentation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you start with those, and
cooks
then
evenly,
make
yeah.
it cute.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fred, what do you
Be-
think about life begins at the end of your comfort zone? Kneel down and wash. Do you think is that a message? Is it just, do you think it gives enough information, direction?
Doesn't give me enough message or enough
Okay.
information.
Actually, that was Pat Hoyt just used that as the thought of the day. It's
Oh,
It's a great
Southside
thought.
the other day.
Did she?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great thought.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
Get out of your comfort zone or step past that line or whatever, but I'm not sure what it's telling me.
Well, I was kind of relating it to what Jared said. I will get out. What kind of man do you want me to be?
Yeah.
In other words, it to me, at least, life begins at the end of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Says to me, go out. If you go out, go out and do things outside your comfort zone. Your
Mhm.
life will get better. That's what it says to me. I just wonder.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
I want to abbreviate it. I want it to be your comfort zone. In other words, then you got your audience thinking, well, what is my comfort zone?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would lead them to differ from what you're really saying, and they may not pay attention to the rest of what you have to say, because you have led them in their thinking to, you're talking about my Yes.
comfort zone?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, when you say to leave your comfort zone is life. Once you come up with that, and as he said, some people in your audience, I don't know. But then if you don't know where your comfort zone is,
Right.
first thing you start going back in memory. What's my comfort zone?
I love it.
So
because-
I have lost your message.
Well, you can just say, change your comfort zone.
Yes,
Right away, then their mind gets to kick in. Okay, am I comfortable here? Do I need to move out of my comfort zone? So
Yeah, okay.
a short but quick message
Or-
is change your
Right.
comfort zone.
Or
And your
begin when you leave,
information
when you
help.
leave your comfort zone.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
when
no,
you
give them
leave,
something to
yes,
do.
yes. When
So is
My
this
fault.
question is not good signature messages that we've heard. We're talking about for our own personal signature messages.
No,
right?
others that you've heard.
Oh, okay, others
Yeah.
that we've
Yeah,
heard.
we'll get into that. The whole idea right now is to help us to start picture what a good message is.
yes.
That's what we're trying to, not your message. We'll go into that
Okay,
later.
that's
Right
what-
now, what other good ones have you heard that really have stuck with you, or that you?
What it is.
What it is, that's Jeannie K. Hardy.
No, that's lying. Have you heard before what it is? That's what they used to say in the 70s and 80s. What it is.
Oh, did it?
I
Yeah.
was born in 74.
You know,
That means what's going on with you.
Yeah, what it is.
Do you think that's a message? No, really.
what is
Well, it's
life?
more slang, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
True, and that's another good point. It's maybe a slang, but if it's for a certain audience, one that people understand what it means,
Right.
then for that audience, it may be a good
That's right.
message because
That's
they
right.
understand it more.
That's right.
But others may not.
It's old school, actually. Mainly it comes from
So-
African American, mainly.
Like Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
Mhm.
That's a message. I don't know what you're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
but it's
As long as you're wearing your tennis shoes, it's okay. Then,
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever heard people say, what is life?
Oh, yeah. I've heard it. I don't know what it means.
That's right.
Hmm? What is life?
But it gets you to thinking.
What's it all about?
Is it,
What's it all about? Yeah.
yeah, what is life all about? What is it? Is it just eating, drinking, having
No.
a good time?
Like Shakespeare said, the
And-
whole world is a stage. Everybody's an actor.
Getting, you could go all the way up.
Let me give you a real good example I think most of you can relate to. You've heard one guy say, or 2,000 years ago, one guy said this pretty much, where you could wrap all of his 3 years into love God, love your neighbor.
Those two,
You know,
that is life.
everything that Christ taught us all was centered around those few words.
message. Yeah, it was.
That's what a good message is.
What is
Love
life?
God, love your neighbor. It's clear. It's big picture. It tells us what's in it for us.
That's right.
You know,
It's interesting that you mentioned that because you're asking us a message, and we're all sitting here discussing it. And these people spend billions of dollars advertising, and right now we're really struggling to find one good message. Other than that's a great message. He didn't spend any advertising dollars on that, but that's what they spend money on.
but on the
Yes,
other
trying
hand,
to find
that
out
was
what-
not the first thing that Jesus came out and said, was it?
No, it was repent. Was the first thing.
Probably. It was, this is not yet my time, I think.
well, if you thought about all the morals of all of the fables and things like that, which were the guides for people growing up, it's better to give than to receive, do
Yeah.
unto others.
Yeah.
All of those morals were pretty much message statements on how to live, how to
You're
do,
exactly right.
and something like that.
You're exactly right. And you can talk about all those, but if you go down to a signature topic,
Yeah.
you're going to want to pick one or adjust your own one that you're going to be known for. But you're absolutely right. All those are wonderful messages. Really
You
great
did,
examples
though.
of good message. Yeah.
That saying that you just said, though, epitomized his entire ministry. Just that.
Mhm.
And that's what you're trying to get us to do, is to,
Right now, the whole idea is to start picturing what is a good message. Then we can start to develop our own.
okay.
Okay? And once you have an idea, this is what I'm trying to do. This is how I have to develop it. That's the second part, how I have to develop it. First is where it is, what it is. Once you can picture it, then you can get to it.
So once you find your topic, you have to be thinking, how is this going to send a message to my audience? And then you have to clarify the topic or your message so that it fits in, so that your message is taken. That's what you. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and that's a lot of work.
I
Let's admit, that's a lot of work, but it's important to get down to that one clear
Mhm, I like
statement.
that.
I used to have a radio program, it was a political radio station, and our message was, give us your vote or give us your seat. If they don't if they don't see the light, make them feel the heat.
Wow.
And that was, Reagan had said part of that, if they don't see the light, make them feel the heat. But give us your vote or give us your seat. That was, the message. And that's got the feel and think.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes, it does.
How about something like, friends don't let friends drive drunk? Is that a good? I mean,
Yeah.
kind of, sort of a call to action,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Take their keys away if they're
Uh-huh.
impaired, kind
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
why you should do it and who you should do it for.
Mm-hmm.
You could
What do y'all
develop
think?
that.
Alright.
I think that could be developed if you really love your life.
Yeah.
I just like them a little shorter.
Or-
Yeah, I don't know why. Brevity is wonderful. Certainly, that's an important message.
How about things go better with Coke? That's short. Is that
Oh,
a
yeah.
message? It's been hammered into us for
It's been hammered
50
into
years.
us,
Yeah,
Things go better with what?
Coke.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a,
Coca-Cola.
yeah, Coca-Cola. Yeah,
But still,
Yeah,
it's not that there's
that
no
was before
action
that.
there.
yeah, before, yeah.
I think that what we're going over are slogans and mottos.
Some are, yeah.
Yeah.
But the messages, I think, are more underlying, more subliminal, I guess, a lot of times.
Sometimes they are, yeah. If you see the general idea, this is what a message would do for your audience. Yeah, make them think. If they're in a different situation, but it has the same parameters, they still would follow that same message. Something different than what you even presented, but it still applies. Well, they will remember the message and they'll apply it.
Because when you look at the ones that we all recognized and then said yes, and also some of the names like a Zig Ziglar, who, my goodness, has been speaking for a number of years and has gotten his message across, and people want to hear him.
Yeah,
For sure.
See,
Exactly right.
his signature message is, you can have all that you want if you will help us enough people get what they want.
Yeah.
And that's his,
Yeah, that's
he
true.
did that for years.
Yeah. There was a retired dentist, and I saw him speak, and I can't think of his name right at the moment, but very entertaining and humorous. I remember one thing he said. He goes, hurricane, hurricane, or tornado, tornado, tornado. And his wife come running out of the house. Why, where? And it was in Bangladesh. But he got everybody reacting, and then he took the rug out from underneath him, and everybody laughed. Because nobody was in danger, although it sounded like they were. Next time I'll make a note and remember his name, because he was very
Interesting.
entertaining. Yeah.
Send us an email. It'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. I have 3 different types of businesses or directions I'm trying to do. And I wrote down what I thought my message would be, and I want to get your feedback on them. On coaching. If I want to push people to be better public speakers, my message was, for an effective presentation, know your message It's the one down there, you don't have to write it in.
Okay.
Know your message, know your audience, and have a conversation. Yeah.
Remember we talked about this at the last global leaders meeting when Cindy was saying something about a conversational speech versus
Yeah.
another type of speech.
Right.
It was confusing. What
It was
was she saying?
confusing.
What was she saying? I mean, you explained
Cindy
it.
was saying, don't have a conversation.
Right.
But what she really was trying to say was, don't have a casual conversation that wanders.
Okay.
I'm saying, once you know your audience and know your message, you can have a conversation that's focused on that message.
Okay.
Just don't go so casual as you're going all over the place.
Okay.
So you're, I'm sorry.
That's
Gene.
okay. So there was another type of speech in there too. There's a conversational speech, and there was another that we talked about the last meeting. You remember that? What she said? That people, yours was conversational. It's not did I just hear it wrong?
Well, you probably heard it correct, but we only retain a very small portion.
Okay. That's okay. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay. I get your idea.
So are you saying that you have 3 topics
Yeah.
that you can offer?
Yeah.
And then it's geared toward a particular audience? Okay, and is that a good philosophy to have?
Yes.
Okay.
You start with one.
Right.
You focus on one.
Mhm.
You develop one. But if you go and get another one, yeah, you could be known for more than one. There are people,
Because-
there are businesses and organizations that are known for more than one. Sure.
Yeah, and certainly as you're approached by an organization, be it older people, young people, then you need a better message for each group, I would
Mhm.
think. Yeah.
True. But there are people, John Maxwell is known well for leadership development,
Mhm.
but he also has Christian ministry,
Mhm.
and he also has focus on children.
Mhm.
3 different products.
Right.
He can relate
3
them all,
different
but each
audiences.
one has 3 different audiences, each one has 3 different messages, 3 different focuses.
Mhm.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Start with one.
Yeah.
He started with his church, and then he went on to the leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
So I wanted to get your thoughts. Is that effective? Does that work? Is that clear and meet all the points?
Mhm.
It's interesting once you get to do a speech and you hear the evaluation that you thought you were getting across, and the evaluator brings out. So it's interesting.
It is an aside, but that's one thing I like to do in my evaluations is say what I heard your message was. And it's because if you look at all the different projects in the Competent Communicator Manual, they're all how to use your words, how to use your gestures, how do you organize your speech to get your message across. It's all about the message. So a good evaluation says, this was what I heard your message was, and Jeannie, you're absolutely right. Do they hear your message? And it helps to know whether they did. So,
I have a question here. And have a conversation and the message. How do you have a conversation with your audience in the message? I mean,
For the last 20 minutes, have I been up here just telling you everything that I know, or have I been talking with you?
you have been talking to us.
We've been having a conversation.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, get the audience involved. Start making them think. It's an aside, but you see a lot of people. I did it when I first started talking. Once I got comfortable up in front of an audience, I started telling you again everything I know.
That took,
So I'm saying-
that took about a minute.
Yeah, about right. And then
Nothing for the next 6.
BS for the next 5 in order to get the green light.
Yeah.
Yes, but I just told and talked without thinking, what's the audience reacting?
React.
Yeah. So get the audience involved.
Yeah, I've started coaching my evaluators when I talk to them about what I want them to look for.
Uh-huh.
I said, I know that I have good eye contact. I know that my voice carries through the whole room. I don't need to hear that. What I need to know is what message did you hear and
Exactly.
and how well.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, when you're doing it like a Toastmasters speech, they give you specific things that they're looking for, and I mean, the topics that you actually choose is kind of in like that.
In the Competent Communicator Manual, they talk about vocal variety or using props. They talk about using vocal variety or props to get your message across.
Right.
Okay, so in
To
that
get your
way-
message across. So don't think about what's this prop and how can I use it in my speech. Think about what's my message and how can this prop support that message.
Okay, okay.
Or how can I use shouting and whispering to help people understand what I'm trying to tell them. That short one sentence
Okay,
message. Okay.
thank you.
So the signature series that I've just started developing is a message of be paid to help others avoid your past mistakes. Does that work? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Be paid to help others avoid.
That's assuming that we made mistakes.
There's only one
And there's
person that didn't.
And there's, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's a teaching moment. I would think maybe just as valid as to talk about our successes
Yeah,
as our mistakes. But
yeah.
because most people like, okay, I know how to fail. I've done that myself. So
True, but you failed and you survived.
sure.
Someone else is going to make that mistake and fail. How are they going to get past
Pass
that?
it. Sure.
That's what you can teach them. You made a mistake, you're going to help them avoid that mistake. Anyway, that the question is that a good message? That's why I'm asking for feedback.
I think it is, and it's interesting because I think we all have given a speech where we gave them too much. We seem to all have experienced that at one time or another. The very smart person will listen to a Fred, will listen to a Jared or Linda, and say, you did that. Gee, let me learn from that. Very, very difficult. Generally, the person has to experience it themselves.
Yeah.
But if you can get a person that understands and can grasp the concept that might taper, the next speech or whatever, when they're trying to get so much in and they go, they warned me against this, and they begin to taper off.
One of the earlier workshops was on your audience. Your audience is not the world. It's not everybody in the room. It's those people who are facing that same situation you face that you want to talk about. I think we came down to the decision, your audience is you. Your audience is you in the past who was in there and would have loved all this wonderful advice that you're now able to give. Your audience is you, past you.
I think I would just change that message a little bit, Fred, to just say be paid to help others, and just stop right there.
Okay, it's a good thought.
Yeah, it's I like to avoid your past mistakes, because one of the mottos that I live by is there's two ways to learn. You can either learn from somebody else's mistakes, or you can experience it yourself.
Make your own.
And that's one of the things too, is that John Maxwell wrote a book, an entire book, called Failing Forward. I mean,
That was
it
recently,
was a
yeah.
very,
Yeah.
this is here a few years back, but it's, I always tell people you can either learn or you can be taught.
True,
Yeah.
true.
So I do like that, because if I don't have to, like with the speaking thing, I'm going to go out and with this professional speaking, is that if I can learn, you can tell me some things that you did that didn't work and some things that did work. Because if you just tell me the things that didn't work, well, okay, well, what did you do to correct it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of the telling signs that were getting you to that cliff, that mistake, that you could avoid? Anything
10
that's
years
going
of
to help
nobody
out.
cutting a check.
Exactly. And then I did a speech, I almost built it into this whole series on losing weight, which I realized was not just losing weight, but it was accomplishing goals. And so my speech was, one more day, one more step, one more dream come true.
I like that. That's a good message.
If I decided to go with that, I probably would have kept it. And I still kept it, I just haven't used it, but I like that message.
Darn, let me write that down.
It's already written down.
Yeah.
Oh,
Already
okay,
written
yeah,
down.
there it is. There it is.
That's a good message.
So that gives you an idea, it helps me too, but it gives you an idea and us all an idea of what a good message is. So let's start to develop a message. Let's start to develop your message. Go to the next page. Write down what you think your top one, if you have several of them, just pick one. what your topic would be. If you were going to have a signature topic, something you're going to go out and tell others about, talk about, what would your topic be? You have an idea? Your
What?
your not mission.
Mission statement?
No, she's had a series of speeches, a little play.
Monologue.
Monologues.
Poem, they're called monologues, like little one-woman shows.
Yeah. But there was a certain general theme for it.
Right.
Well, that could be an idea.
This is the real hard part, Fred, is like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, so.
I know it takes me a while to think about it.
Right now, you're not making a commitment. We're going to start the exercise. So pick one just for the exercise. If it's on public speaking, if it's on knife skills, if it's on housekeeping, I don't know. If it's on driving a race car, something that you've done. Another hint. One of the suggestions we had when we talked about topic was, what was the mistake that you made? What was a problem that you had that you overcame? Just anyone. Preferably something that other people will be involved with, other people will be doing. Something that you've told other people about. If you've done something that either people have come to you and said, how did you do that? Or you've gone to people and said, boy, guess what I did?
What is the most important thing in
Doesn't matter. Right now it's just anything. It doesn't have to be the most important. It has to be something that it was most important to you at the time.
Okay.
Could be
What to do?
finding a church. Could be finding a mate.
Friend?
A friend. Yeah. I mean, I moved to new cities in new states several times. That could be a topic. How to get acclimated to a new city. If you want to talk about that. At least you have one. You go ahead. Write down. Write
Okay,
it
let me
down.
writing.
Okay. You can change it. Again, this is just for the exercise. And then when you finish that, start to think about what would your message be. Just write down several different ideas. What would your message be? What's that one big picture thought that you want people to leave with? You can cheat and bring out notes if you want. That's not cheating, it's helping. Think about a couple of messages. Larry's written a couple of good ones down. Linda's just going to town. Steve's got a few. Gary's got two, right? Or is that one long one?
It's two.
Yeah,
It's the
good.
same
It's good. No,
I'm struggling.
I'm going to jump forward for a second because I'll mention this again. But the very last line of that first page, that that we're on, is a really important line. Your message is going to evolve over time. You're not going to get a good message now. You're going to develop it over time with practice, with feedback, with careful thought, with more research. But it will evolve. But it evolves by starting somewhere.
For me, this is like a reinvention
Uh-huh.
because I know my audience. And Larry knows my audience, and I speak to them in the prison. I was there all day yesterday. That's where I'm at. But I'm using this to speak outside of the fences, and so I'm really struggling. I'm struggling with how to relate to Steve.
Uh-huh.
Because remember we talked before, and he was very honest about about how he feels. That's how the general society, when you start talking about this, and I don't have a message for that. You
Yes,
know, I mean,
yeah. Like, what do I say at the very beginning? The difference between our session and another product, another group, is that we're going to help each other find that.
that's good, because that's where
That's what we want to do.
Well, I want to bring up something. Now, Elise and I, we're in a Christian group called 7 Up for Christians. It's like a ministry group to the Church of God where we actually speak on biblical topics. One of the reasons why I'm in Toastmasters is so that I can learn to be a diverse speaker. I don't want to be speaking about the same thing all the time. So I did a speech, research speech. It was on medical marijuana. And I labeled it Charlotte's Web. And I came out and started doing little things with nursery rhymes. And then into the speech, then that's what I brought up. This is really about medical marijuana and should it be legal? And see, for me, that was a good challenge. It was a different. And so I want to learn to be a diverse speaker. You people know I'm spiritual, I think. African American topics. That's a big thing for me. But I want to be a diverse speaker. So that's why I have to persuasive speaker manual, because there's something about selling, and I'm not a salesperson at all, and just so I can learn to diversify. So when you talk about my possible signature message, I mean, I think I wrote up, do I look suspicious to challenges of the African American woman? But I want to, and I'm bringing it on like I'm doing a part of the presentation, talk about values and the spiritual versus secular. But then there's something else I want to, get into.
If you want to talk about different topics, list some of those topics. Because what would eventually be found, what you'll eventually see is that all those topics have something something similar that you can base yourself off of. Maxwell is all about leadership, but there's a lot of different parts of leadership. There's values, there's all sorts of things. What is the other one? Values, ethics, principles, caring about others. He's written 70 books or so, different topics, but it's all based on one. Eventually, you can find all those little topics have something in common.
Right.
It's strange that you say marijuana. Yesterday I went to vote, and one of the things they're talking about medical use of marijuana.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Right.
My thing is, that's my opinion. I'm not telling you to believe what you want. But I grew up in Jamaica where they grow it. It's not good. And I have an opinion, and I'm saying, for your health, you will go and say this will help. But the other person who have alternative motive, he's not going to go to doctor so that the doctor prescribe the amount. No,
Different question, yeah.
right. So you are speaking to people who you can enlighten them. It is dangerous. It's not a good thing to agree with. It might be good for your health. I know people drinking and it helps. But the majority of people are not going to do it. And they're not going to make the doctor tell them, just take a little and make the doctor give them. They're going to start growing it.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But you also bring up a different point, to sort of support something Larry said before, about can you have more than one topic? Who is the biggest proponent in state of Florida for the marijuana?
Well, it's
medical marijuana?
Morgan and Charlie Crist is the big proponent.
But the person who's the face of it is John Morgan.
Right.
Who is John Morgan?
A lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
Right.
So he's got his law practice, it's his own separate and strong topic, and he's known for, but then he's also known for this. So to answer the question again with a better example, you can pick more than one. You be known for each one separately, but and there's people who are against it, but John Morgan is a really good example of.
Some of us can argue both sides at that point.
We can do that. And I'm not debating the point. I'm just saying, as far as having a message, having more than one, being known for more than one signature.
See, that helps me because I'm comfortable with my signature message in prison. Faith is the foundation for freedom. When I'm talking to men on the inside and saying that if nothing changes on the inside, nothing's going to change on the outside. But when I come out
Yeah.
and I'm speaking to the general public, that same message has to be a different signature message because
Yeah.
you have the what's in it for them.
Yeah.
Is look,
It's different.
they're in prison. I don't have to worry about them. That's a good place for them. So my message to them has to be, it's a different signature message on this side of the fence.
But you also bring up something that's really important for the John Morgan thing and for you. Now, think about this. If I went out and tried to push the outside ministry of supporting the prisons, I wouldn't have the credentials or the credibility that you do because you meet and work with the people inside. You've got that credibility, so you can use both sides. I can't do that.
That's right.
So because you have that, you can have those two separate topics, those two separate signatures.
They are two.
They're
we agree
separate,
they're two
but
separate topics.
you have the credibility for both.
Jerry, write this down. Now you have freedom.
Right, you have freedom. All right.
Because you can use that in the public presentation. Because they've had freedom and have they abused it. And so you can also then relate by dealing with the ministry, and then now you have freedom.
And I like that term because that's what I was thinking, that when you could choose either topics, but you could relate. I mean, you could use one speech and you could look at one side being free and the other side
Incarcerated. in one
incarcerated.
situation,
So right now you're giving your audience a choice. I mean, do you want to be free? Or when you are free, what can you do as a free person? And being in bondage, losing your freedom. I mean, you could actually.
I think
do
you're
that.
telling us it's time for that next step. Let's listen to some of our, let's listen to some of these ideas and get some feedback.
Okay, I'll give you a few here.
Okay.
A second topic of mine that I feel strongly about is people becoming organ donors. 25 years ago, I donated a kidney to my cousin. So, possible signature messages. My cousin was sick, I could help.
Mhm.
Okay.
Many people died because no donor matched. Many more people can be saved. Minorities are underrepresented in the donor pool. And recycling saves lives.
That last one, yeah.
I actually used that in a contest speech once.
I remember
Oh,
that
they
one.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
then people are thinking, cans and bottles, and then I hit them with kidneys
Yeah,
and
that's right,
hearts.
that's right.
Or organs,
Organs,
yeah.
So let's ask the questions. What do you all think about some of those? Which one do you like better?
I love the last
last
one. Because naturally your mind goes to paper products, plastic and whatever.
Is it clear?
It strikes interest. Is it clear? Yes. Recycling did save lives. Not the way you thought in the first stroke,
Yeah.
So-
It's catchy.
Yeah,
Would it confuse?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that good?
Until after you've heard it, yes.
Actually, that's what makes humor is
Yeah.
that the twist that, where you're going along one line and then you
Yeah, I
You're trying
agree.
to
I agree.
you hit the wall or the dead end or whatever.
I'm wanting feedback because if that's something you want to end up going with, you want to know how the people respond to it. Is it clear? Is it you focused? Recycling. It saves lives. Everyone's going to want to have a life.
To be honest, when he said that, I was thinking of the recycling bin.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. And that was sort of the intent,
Yeah.
was to lead people down one track and then surprise them, and then they come away, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. And it's effective. How about the others? Do you have another second favorite?
Oh, the other one is just the knife stuff that we already
Okay,
got.
I mean, for that message,
Oh,
for that topic, I
oh,
mean.
for that topic, I had several of them.
Which one is the second favorite?
One of the major issues is minorities are underrepresented in the donor pool. That's a big issue. Hispanics typically do not volunteer to be organ donors.
Yeah.
Underrepresented in almost all of the ethnic communities. And it's not really a religious thing. If you talk to the religious leaders, they say they have no issues with organ donation after you're gone, that, you know, all things are made anew and you don't have to worry about that. So even the Muslim community, as long as the donation is made to enhance someone else's life, it's considered acceptable.
Okay. Good.
So there's only a few of very Orthodox Jewish organizations that feel like the body has to be complete and whole, and it's
Okay, well,
that's what.
somebody else have a message you want to share?
I want to hear what Linda
Yeah, I do
has.
too.
She got a lot of messages.
You were
there.
going somewhere.
I've been,
In
yes.
circles, arrows.
What's the topic? Yeah, what's it?
I know. My topic is volunteer leadership,
Okay.
and my overall message is make your voice count. Some of my possible signature messages: lead with passion and integrity, ask for what you want, set good boundaries. Let me put these back on.
Are these separate ones or this is all one?
These all relate to volunteer leadership. Set good boundaries, say no, be results oriented, put yourself first, live your faith, and women, aspire to lead.
Which one is a favorite one of yours?
Of all those,
Yeah. One message.
make your voice count.
Is that a leadership one?
I think it is. Does anyone else have a favorite message? Or any message?
What do y'all think?
Can we hear him again?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Slowly. They all kind of
Separate
mush
each one.
together.
Yeah, I thought that was all one for a second.
Okay. My topic is volunteer leadership. Make your voice count. Lead with passion and integrity. Ask for what you want. Set good boundaries. Say no. Be results oriented. Put yourself first. Live your faith. Women, aspire to lead.
What does volunteer leadership mean?
Leadership of volunteer organizations.
Become involved as a leader in a volunteer organization.
Become a better leader in a volunteer organization. Or a good leader, effective leader.
Okay. What do y'all think?
I like to make your voice count.
Yeah.
Does it go along with what her idea of volunteer leadership is? Does it tell people to
It can.
become better leaders in an
Yeah,
organization?
It can.
It
And
can.
Jared,
Okay.
I also thought, make your voice count, because you can do that in your leadership position in an organization, club, but also in the community. So it can really be developed for sure, But you did say something about women, and I think that you want that to be your focus sometime. So ladies, make your voice count.
But is your audience women or women and men?
I think I'm probably gonna end up having more, two different focuses, as you said.
Okay, so you would have some men in certain.
Some.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
you can't limit it that way.
No.
For
How
somebody
about-
to suggest it.
How about make your voice count, how to lead in a volunteer organization? That kind of takes two, because that's what you're teaching them, how to lead in a volunteer
I
organization.
think that was my thought with make your voice count. It sounds like go out and vote.
Well, it is.
I know.
It is.
It's just saying, or speak up.
Yeah.
It's not saying become a leader in a volunteer organization.
Well, And when I said that, Fred, that's my kind of my underlying theme. Tell me what you said again. Jared, or just wrote down.
Leading a volunteer.
Make your voice count, lead,
I was gonna say how to lead.
make your voice count, how to lead a volunteer organization.
Is that more specific? Or?
I thought her next one about integrity
I like the passion and integrity one because
is clear.
it's, well, Shands Hospital has a big saying on their wall that says, no one cares what you did or remembers what you did or what you said until they know how much you care. So the passion is important for that. So.
But would you, if you just heard that,
Lead
in
with
your
passion
message
and
being
integrity.
clear, if you just heard that, you wouldn't know it was a hospital.
It wasn't. That's
No, that
Ziegler.
was-
No, I know, but I'm saying that when you have your signature message should tell people what you do,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and that's
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So your target audience should be defined in your message, is what you're saying?
It's a message for your audience. What's in it for that audience? What's in it for them?
If I could make a point here, Fred. For a long time, I've lived as if I have a vision to die for, as if I have no unfinished business. I don't have to do one more thing in my life. I've done enough. But if I have more time, I'll do more. Now that's a very passionate life. So I think in this group, in many ways, we're trying to put structure to passion. I think everybody in this room has things that we're passionate about. And some of the, and I'm not speaking about today, but I think everything that said is construction, I was constructive. Our last meeting was constructive. But if you're going into it with the kind of passion that you're going into it, you're gonna do it, you're gonna make some mistakes, but you're still, but that drive, that's what's gonna carry you through. And I felt a little bit on the last meeting, unless I'm wrong, I felt a little bit but that some of the comments that were made, not by you, I don't mean that, but some of the comments that were made, I think caused some people to doubt themselves a little bit. Okay, but if you remember the passion versus, you know what I mean? And a leadership model is you're never gonna be 100% ready, ever. So if you're 80% ready, then you go with it, and that is a very common, or if you will, prominent leadership model. You go with it, and as you go with it, then you work out some of the kinks, and sometimes you make mistakes. And when you fall flat, you're only looking up. That's the only place you can look.
Right.
So I think we have, in
Good point.
that point,
right.
the passion of it,
Yeah.
I think will override some of the other things and get you through the kinks.
Well, I feel with that too, with this signature message, and why we're here for me is, I've been public speaking, and I've known my niche, and I've been doing it for years, but this being able to have a message that people pay for, okay? That, and I don't mean necessarily stroke a check for a service, the what's in it for me, but in developing our signature message, I have the passion and I have the zeal, and it communicates, and I believe that it's used well within that audience. But when I come out into the community, unless Larry's a member of Kairos, and they will invite me out to speak to churches or organizations to tell them about the work we're doing. But most of the time, unless it's a faith, people that are already interested, and then we've heard even other times that the grace message and the faith message, it just bounces off walls. When we're talking about the passion, I don't want to be just full of sound and fury signifying nothing. Meaning that at the end of the day, if I walk home because I couldn't afford to get gas, if I go home and I'm not able to turn this profession into where it's actually generating revenue, I can't generate revenue if I don't have a message that people want to buy.
Right.
And so that's where passion, I can be passionate about it, but what I've discovered when I'm out in the community talking about it is that there's no whiffing for them. there's absolutely no benefit for Steve if a man changes in prison or not. There's no benefit for Steve if a man gets out and is a father to his family, is a husband.
Actually, there is if he doesn't rob me again.
Well, yeah,
and
but we're
that's
trying
it.
to stay away from that. But so
You-
that's where we're developing the signature message. That's
You have to find that with him.
Right, right.
There is one. And together we can help you find it
and that's why I'm
and
here.
clarify. Yeah.
I've got the
And
passion.
so present those things, those speeches at the club and ask the question. Yeah, because we want to help you find that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see.
Especially that.
I couldn't see people buying tickets to come see me talk about organ donation, but I could see American Heart Association maybe bringing me in as a keynote speaker for one of their conferences or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That's worth
Okay.
that's worth payment for it. But
Yeah.
I don't see me, come see Steve, $25.
Have a heart.
Yeah.
And if you want,
Corporations will pay, yeah.
yeah. Or if you want, you go to those places and you have some of the materials that they sell, and if you want to make some money out of it, get a
Yeah.
cut out of it. People do that.
I'm sure that people.
Darren LaCroix, I've listened to a lot of his stuff, talked for years about this one book about adding humor to your speeches. And he would always tell people, this is a great book. Finally, after 4 years, he figured out
You can
he
get
should
one back there,
go,
yeah.
because that lady called him and said, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And he realized he should have been selling her book in the back of the room with his speech. And he would have gotten a cut. So you may not have your own product, you may not get the money yourself, but you may get it. I mean, that's just an idea.
Yeah.
The products.
Back to the room
That's
sales
a later
generate a
workshop.
lot of
Yeah.
the revenue
Yeah.
that people make when they do
Right.
seminars.
Right, return, yeah.
What's Larry thinking?
Well, all of you are challenging me because years ago I thought that I need a theme, I need a topic, and was seriously challenged by how do I pursue speaking and enjoying it as much as I do. So, since this was my first meeting, you're challenging me to leave and come up with something, because what I wrote down was what I think I can offer in different areas. And so for me right now, that's where I'm starting.
Good.
And hopefully,
Did you have a topic that you wrote down, or these are all different topics?
somewhat all different topics. However, at the top, I wrote smile, because I get so many comments about you smiled. And I find it a common theme even years ago. Problem though, Jared, was sometimes is you need to get organized and get busy. Entirely nonverbal that shouldn't have been there. So I had to start recognizing the smile is nice and wonderful, and in sales, trust me, it worked for a number of years. However, there is a connection, and I have to be careful with that connection. And as much as I want to connect with each one of you, you can't connect with everybody. But if you can I always said leave them wanting more. And if you can, then you get invited back, which I really love. And then really one thing real quickly, because I read something Stanley the other day, Charles Stanley, and he said, if I say the sermon is going to be how you can follow the Holy Spirit, he says, and I might have it wrong at the moment, he says nobody will show up. But if I say, how would you like to have a complete life or something, they flock.
Yeah.
So I think and then our theme or our motto needs to be a message that says, you're welcome. Come on into our conversation. That sort of thing.
That brings up another point. I was watching Dr. Adrian Rogers. I love Dr. Adrian Rogers.
Yeah.
And he was explaining the difference between success and failure. And I never heard it explained like that. He said success is making sure your life follows God's will.
Right.
He said, but failure is being successful at the wrong thing. I never thought about that.
That's
You
good.
know,
Yeah.
that makes it because you can be successful but not be successful. And who was that did a speech? What was the name of the guy with the dreads? He was talking about at the
Andre.
last Andre. What was he was talking about for knowing
He was a
your
fireman and
what was it? Yeah,
Fireman
yeah, but he had
is-
it's a speech. It was a title that he bought it that you need to know what your calling is or something like that.
Oh,
yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
And it lines up with that because you could be very successful but be
Yeah.
Right.
in the wrong,
Mhm.
and you may not know it,
Right,
and
right,
then
right.
so you still failing. But then he says success is no for God's will, and I always put it as purpose, wisdom, whatever you would put it in your life. So it's interesting when you think about that. Because I'm getting more linked into this medical thing. The more older I get, and I get these.
Just because you're at a doctor all the time, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I was there twice this week, so unexpectedly. So it's really like I said, the marijuana. Because my thing is the way it sounds. Like if it can help people, then I'm not. But like I said, some people are gonna take it and do other things with it. So.
well, I'm a libertarian. As long as they're not hurting anybody else, why not?
Well, I would say one.
Go
You
ahead.
want to go ahead?
And I'm going to ask you what your thoughts,
okay.
but if you want, yes,
Well,
and
okay, I
no,
just wanted to say this because when Jerry was saying, it got to me in that he has a passion for something.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a passion, it's just that you have to go after that passion. And that might be your God-given gift, why you have that passion for it. Just like a young guy come up and he just have a passion for music. He just want to play his music. It don't matter who don't like the noise. That's what makes him feel successful. And when you are gifted, just like Mr. Hollenwood, he has a passion to help people to be better speakers. Look, it's just so many of us here, but he don't care. If it's not the whole world, but if he can change one person, he feels that he has accomplished his goal.
Did Mr. Hollis here?
No, he's talking about Fred Haley.
Oh,
Mr.
Fred.
Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Because Fred does have a passion for doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has a passion to do that.
Yeah.
And he's not looking at how many people
Right.
he can teach, but he feels that if, I'm just saying that, if it's not true, you tell me. If he feels that if he teach 6 people, and 6 people teach 6 more people, he would have accomplished his goal. And so the passion that you have, you are going to find that in this world, everybody is not going to go after your passion.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you are fulfilling your passion, you're fulfilling your goal. That is your success, that is your smile.
You're right. And we all have that. You can tell we all have a certain passion. And how can we get to help others with it?
When I was in the business world, and this is where I'm challenged because of ministry and business world. When I was in the business world, I lived by a motto that don't work for money. Work for success, and money will hunt you down. If you're good at what you do,
Yeah.
but then it's like I've been passionate and in the ministry area. It's not the same thing as you can't just go sell them,
Yeah.
So that's where the challenge is that my reason for being here isn't money, but money moves ministry. I mean, it's literally, it's that I'm trying not to think about it, but the whole reason for being here is to have a message that will move and motivate people to be involved. And
Keep doing speeches and we'll help you with that message.
so I keep coming back to it because I have to.
I gotta come back to something else. Linda, do we ever answer your question? You feel more comfortable? You haven't got any comfort level or any thoughts or any direction on your message?
I'm okay, but thank you.
You sure?
I think I'm going to hire for the ministry.
Oh, I agree.
Volunteer
I agree.
leaders.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anyone?
you feel good inside.
We're getting close to time, so anyone have any other thing you want to share?
That's good.
Elise or Jeannie, do you want to share any of yours? Yeah, you can, but if you want to.
Yeah, I don't know, but because just Jerry said, I just have a passion And I'm so glad. This is a fulfillment of my passion coming to this meeting. Jeannie just called me this morning and said,
I fell asleep last night.
yeah, after 8 o'clock and say, Ellie, so would you like to? I said, I don't even know where the library is. She said, I'll take you. No, just since recently, I've just received a new passion that I want. I feel that I have to come out of my comfort zone, and I have to do more in a way of evangelizing. Now, I didn't know about this meeting, but you see, when you have a passion and it is your God's way of doing it, He leads you into the path. You said the money would come. Now, I talked to somebody about being a more active evangelist, and the first thing the person said to me was the money. No, I didn't think of the money.
Yeah.
I was thinking of what is inside of me that I want to get out to help somebody to make a different choice. So when this today is fulfilling part of my goal, my passion, because I want to be an effective speaker. I want what I say to penetrate the heart and the mind so that it makes a change in the person's life. And learning how to hit the topic.
Pretty soon, yeah.
Okay. I agree.
Our timeshare starts today.
No, I
We
don't-
gotta go to St. Augustine's.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't want
No,
to-
I'm glad you said that. Because you're saying what everyone else is feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're at different stages. Some really have a passion, really know, and are far along. Some are getting there, almost there, and some of us are
And
just
I'm
starting
slow
to think.
thinking. I'm
Starting to
recognizing
think,
slow.
but that's what we want to do. And again, we want to help each other.
That's right.
That's what we want to do. We don't want to just say, here's some ways you can do it, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to get to the next step before
Okay.
Steve leaves, because down at the bottom of that page, how do you come up with your message? And the only way I find to do it is by doing what I did by mistake the first time. Too much information. I just start to list all those things and all the points, and then I start to try to categorize them. Start to ask the question, well, what does this mean? How does this mean to the bigger picture? Start to think about, for Larry, you said you had a whole bunch of different ones. And Jeannie, you had a number of different topics. Well, start to think about those different topics. Jeannie was talking about diverse topics and what they mean, what they mean to others, and see if you can combine them and start to build them up into one big message. Linda, you had several different good, valid, important points. Come down, can you say that into one message? And then we'll go back to that one line at the bottom of it. The message is going to evolve. It's going to evolve with practice, it's going to evolve with feedback.
I have a
We're gonna go
question
on with
about
you.
that, Fred. In a 5 to 7 minute speech, we typically coach people to keep with 3 points and kind of stick with that. If you're doing a 30-minute keynote speech, would you still keep 3 points and just spend more time on those points, or would you go to 5 points or 7 points?
Whatever you need.
Still keep it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But each point might be 5 to 7 minutes.
Exactly.
Oh.
Right. No. But you still don't want too much information. You don't want to go with too many
No.
different discussions in the time.
And frankly, I've done that. I still do that when I'm coaching. I'm still developing this coaching thing, and I've put in too much information. Each time I pull out a lot. I try to speak more on it rather than give more. So it helps to keep practicing it. But yeah, keep trying to condense it down to one simple point. What happens is that oftentimes, what eventually will happen is that your 45-minute speech will be 5 minutes of opening, 5 minutes of closing, and then 3 or 4 7-minute speeches. So think about that. You're going to go to your club, give a 7-minute speech. That's a speech that you will just adjust to make it one point in your 45-minute keynote. And that's when you start to develop the point. That's when you start to develop the overall message.
I just started a new CC book, and that's my focus is that whole CC book's gonna be on one topic.
Exactly.
And do all
You can.
10 speeches on that.
Sure, you can. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I've been encouraging. Once I realized I don't have to come up with a brand new topic each time. I can use the same topic. I can use the same speech each time. It won't be the same speech, but you can use the same speech each time. Each of the 10 speeches.
Sometimes you're using vocal variety, sometimes you're using visual aid,
As
sometimes you're
long
using.
as long as meeting the purpose of the speech. But what happens? I never give the same speech twice. Because
You
you've
thought
told
about
me
it, yeah.
what's good and what's bad, so I changed it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my 4th CC. I wouldn't try it on the first time out, maybe, but
Yeah.
the 3rd or 4th time through the book, it's not bad to focus.
Are you saying you have your DTM and you're going back to
Yeah,
CC?
right. He's
I,
right.
I, actually, my
I am
fourth
too.
CC.
Yeah.
Come on, CC. I've done a really
I've done
good
2
stuff.
while I was
That's what I'm
still
doing.
doing the other stuff for my DTM after I'd gotten all my advanced communicator gold.
I've got 4.
I just started back with CC books.
This is just my second CC speech I'm working on, but I'm doing different topics.
That's good, because we're
Yeah,
gonna need some
that's good.
CCs for our DCP.
Right.
Well, actually, so does Southside. So.
COs, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much longer we want to stay here, so let me go to the next page, the last page. I just what I did was outline my speech. I started with the opening story. And what was my point of the opening story? TMI. Too much information is bad. So then I had the quiz, you lose credibility. See it? Yeah. Then my opening story, I'm talking about when I presented at my work. It just said too much information is bad. And then the second one, too much, the quiz, you lose credibility with TMI without a message. Then I started talking about the message. You can sort of figure this one out. What is a good message? How do you find it?
Where is this? Is this point 3?
Yeah,
Pure
these are on the page. So the opening story was, what is TMI? The TMI quiz is you lose credibility without a message. You lose credibility. The cure, what is a good message? Why is it important? The good speech message, what is a good message? Start to get a good picture of what is a message. Finding your message is how do you figure it out? And then what I talked about today, this part here, this whole thing is how do you find your message? How do you determine your message? Those two. Then the last one was going to be an exercise which you can finish afterwards and bring to the next meeting and contact me or each other if we want to get more thoughts and more clarity. Helping you to find your message. So the exercise below that you can go ahead.
Number 4.
That's the same as this one. The 3 and 4 are both how do you determine your message. And then the last one was helping you. So my overall message was develop. Well, what would you say my message is for today?
How to develop your message.
What is a good message? How to figure out what is a
It's,
good message?
what is the message is something that tells you, bless you, how to feel, act, or think.
How to develop your message.
So the audience feels like
Or just
Say
develop
enough.
your own clear, memorable signature message for your topic. That's the way I wrote it, but same thing, not just how, but you develop your own message.
And what was invaluable for me today, especially coming in and this being our first meeting, was the encouragement and the brainstorming and sharing and suggestions for each other. Is a great encouragement for me now at this point to start considering going out again and being available and having a good message that's of value to people and
Well, you can
myself.
take advantage of the World Golf.
Yeah.
Start doing it, and you can come to our meetings, please do.
Yeah, I like to keep
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah, our next meeting is at the
At the
conference.
conference.
I'm gonna be there.
Are you?
I paid my 129, 139, 119.
139.
I paid
Whoa.
119.
Whoa. Yeah.
I paid the 99
That's
when it came out, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
We're gonna have he's gonna have an hour seminar for the global leaders there too.
Yeah, okay.
Only question about that, they booked some of the workshops at the same time as the district meeting, do we know if there's any I thought
They
there
did.
was,
Supposed to
unless.
do that.
They
maybe-
did it last time too.
Well,
because
maybe
of
I just
Janelle.
read
I don't
that.
know. I saw there was something
Oh, I
between 2 and
think
4.
they do it because if you're not in the business meeting, they offer something.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well,
I
if,
don't know
yeah,
where mine is.
okay, well, if we might could find that out, because I'm booked, Fred is booked, I'm booked in that, so
Yes.
if I,
Yeah.
And I'm leaving in the middle of it to go to a storytellers conference.
Okay.
And I'll be back for the business meeting.
So I'll ask
I
Mike
just,
about
well, you know, because, and I
I'd
only
like
saw
to
that
visit
because
meetings on the
the
Sunday
agenda
after.
was
Yeah.
online.
the deck
I
meeting is
noticed
on
that.
Sunday.
Okay.
I thought they said, okay,
I
maybe you
don't
can
know.
find
I
out.
hadn't got that
Yeah.
far. I saw this overall
What did you
schedule.
say?
but I
Right.
didn't see
Okay.
what specific.
Okay.
So here's what I'm saying. My message was to develop your own clear, memorable signature message. Here's how to do it. Start to work on it. Start to work on it together. We can help you. Play with it. It's not going to be great right now, but it's going to be one. And we'll continue to evolve over time. We want to help you.
That's awesome.
That's good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Good message.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh,
I'm glad you came.
Yeah.
You look very familiar.